are you?
I'm good. How are you, Deborah?
I am doing awesome. I'm in Florida. It is so hot and humid. Why am I in Florida at the end of June? I'll be here June,
I,
July, and August.
I
What?
you picked the worst best time to be there. I have no idea why you're there.
It's just the divine timing. Thank God for air conditioning. I will tell you that.
Yes.
We are very happy.
Yes.
And there actually is a breeze here when you go outside sometimes, so you do feel the breeze. So it's
Oh,
cool.
that's good. That's good. Hopefully you have a golf cart to like tool around in for happy hour or something.
No, but we do have a car that will take us to
Okay, that's good.
the
To the pool.
yeah, to the pool, to the bar. And if we really
Exactly.
needed to, we could walk to the bar, which is really dangerous now that I'm thinking about it. So you've got heat, alcohol. It's probably not really
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
combination.
I'm probably not even driving, but
Yeah, I
we
think
won't
you're
go
right. I
there.
think we should, yeah. And if we walk, we'd probably get lost. But yeah,
Yeah,
so it's all good.
exactly.
It's all good.
Exactly.
We're in a beautiful place, and we're very blessed and fortunate to be where we are,
Good.
and it's all for the right reasons. So it's
That's awesome.
all
That's
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
It all works out, right?
It does. So I just have to say your last name. I love your last name,
Oh,
Rabideau.
thanks.
So it doesn't
Rabbit.
look like Rabideau. I would say Rabideau. Rabideau?
Rabideau.
French?
Rabideau.
What is
It's
that?
French. It's French Canadian. Yes, it's
What is
French Canadian French. Rabideau.
Rabideau?
So yeah, Rabideau. 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 So
I know. I love that. I think, and so all right. So wait. So let's go back for a second. The
yeah,
Rabideau's Rabideau. So how did
yeah.
that come up? Where is that?
The Rabideau's Rabideau. So way back when, probably about 12, 15, about 15 years ago, I was the spokesperson for celebrations.com, which is 1-800-Flowers, all of those brands, Harry and David, all of those things.
I loved
Uh,
Harry and David. Their
yes,
chocolate
yes.
covered almonds were
Yeah,
awesome.
they were
Yeah.
very awesome. And so I was blessed to have been asked to be the spokesperson for celebrations.com. And I was going on and doing these, TV segments, entertaining TV segments on entertaining and, how to do a 4th of July party, how to entertain for the Academy Awards, all of these different things. And it just kind of developed as rabadoos and rabadon'ts of like, these are the tips that you should do for entertaining, for decor. This is what you should not do. Etiquette for weddings, etiquette for parties, things of that nature. And so I just did rabadoos and rabadoo don'ts were born. And so and I did a TV segment for VH1. They had a morning show called VH1 Big Morning Buzz, and they came up with a cryon, and it had like a little figure of me, and it was like rabadoos and rabadon'ts, and it just kind of
Oh,
stuck.
wait a second. I gotta look this up. Is it still available on YouTube?
No,
Where
no, I
does
don't
it
think it.
exist?
I
I
don't.
gotta see this.
It
I
might.
got
It might still exist. You can Google and see all sorts of different. When I was much younger, but
Rabidoo Rabidoons. I'm looking this up right now. So how
yeah.
did they spell the Rabidoos and the Rabidoons?
Rabi, and then it was DO''S, and then don'ts, and you can't, rabadoos, rabadon'ts, and don'ts isn't even a word. So, but let's have fun with it anyway, right?
Hold
So,
on. No, this is not you. Okay, I am not on the right place. You're gonna have to share the link so that we can share it with everybody.
I'll see if I can screen grab some stuff for you
Yeah,
and
because what
send
I'm
it to
looking at
you.
right now is a really old man. It looks like he's in his 90s, and I know that's
Well,
not you.
that's how I feel. I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like
You're
I'm.
so young. Come on. You got lifetimes and decades in you. Just
I've been blessed to have lived the life that I've lived thus far. So, it's, pretty, you look back in retrospect of your life, and sometimes when you're in it, you're like, gosh, this isn't enough. I need more. I long for more. And now I look back and I mean, what I accomplished in those years of, doing the TV segments, the people that I met, the opportunities that I had, people would kill for that. And I was like living in it, to the point that I couldn't see it. You know what I mean? But now in retrospect, I'm like, I was pretty darn lucky, and pretty darn lucky to have gotten where I've been. So, but yeah, I still feel like I'm 90. So, you know, yeah,
I think, I'm laughing because of the way you feel like you're at a certain age. And yet, when you look back, isn't it amazing how you so appreciate things in retrospect? And what if we had been, and I'm saying we is like the
yeah,
Gen
yeah,
Z,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, collective,
In
yeah,
this moment, like right now, you and I are sitting here right now having this conversation. I am so thankful that you're here. And I feel so blessed. And I look back to when I was younger,
yeah,
and I'm like, I wasn't in that same space. So I think we,
right,
right, what is that? What's wasted on the youth? Something is wasted on the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
something.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think, I wish, myself now could go back and tell my, 25-year-old self, or 30-year-old self that was in the moment, to just lighten up and, live life and say that, by the way, you're really lucky right now. Like, you don't see it right now, but you're really lucky. And, I think, you kind of get lost when you're looking for your version of success and, looking for, your version of what you want to be. And, I've learned to kind of let go and learn that, things in the moment, the universe has a funny way of knocking you back on course when you're running off course. And I think that happened a lot, and I wasn't listening. And then, when I started listening, it was like, oh, got it. This is what I'm supposed to do, right? But that is all to say at the same time that, when I was doing wedding planning and event planning, which I did for 26 years, what I did for those couples, getting them married, down the aisle, had such a big impact. And then I was asked to do, christenings, and asked to do first birthdays, and then milestones of, 40, 50th birthday parties, and, things of that nature. And so, when you make that impact on people, which at the time I didn't see, for them to keep coming back to you, that says something, right? Like, it
Beautiful
says that,
compliment.
it's a beautiful compliment. And then, when my husband and I got married, we had a total of 64 people at our wedding, and 20 of those people, so 10 couples, were former clients of ours that, they just are ingrained in who we are. And so, you look back on all of that, and it's like, wow, like in the moment, you're not seeing it, right? It's the forest through the trees kind of thing. So, it's all just pretty lucky, and blessed, right?
Yeah, I think wisdom, no, something I'm going to look for that
Yes,
quote
yes,
because it's going to drive me nuts.
yes,
So it's something wasted on the youth, right?
yes.
Something is wasted on.
Wisdom is wasted on the youth.
I'm like, hold on, it's going to
Okay.
drive me nuts.
Okay.
Where's the quote? It's like
Here,
youth is
let's.
wasted. Youth is wasted on the young. Oh my God, really? That's
Youth,
not that good
youth
of a
is
quote.
wasted on, no, well,
No, I
but
don't know. That's
yeah,
not
it
rich
makes
enough.
sense.
It,
It makes
it
sense. It
it
makes
needs to be deeper. Where's the depth of that?
sense.
That's terrible. So
Sometimes simple is all it takes, though,
yeah, well, that was Oscar Wilde said that youth is wasted on the young. Well, you know what? I know Oscar Wilde's a lot more famous than I am. So I can't disparage his name. So I
I
apologize
guess,
if I'm a I
and
don't
may
want
he
to.
rest in peace. We can't fight with him either. So,
Okay, thank you for saying that. Yeah, RIP, right? So, okay. So, and having said all that, do you remember the movie Back to the Future where
of
Marty goes
course,
back and
of course, it was one of my
yeah.
favorite series. Yeah,
But they
totally.
said that you're not allowed to talk to your younger self because you
Right,
change the course of your future. And of course,
right,
he inevitably does. And
right.
he totally makes everything basket case crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah, 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 yeah. And then has to go back and fix it again.
what is that?
Yeah,
What is
yeah,
that?
yeah.
I,
Good.
I read something a while ago, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I read like every day, and I'm a very big Michael Beckwith. I don't know if you know Michael
Okay.
Beckwith and
Heard of them,
Louise
yeah.
Hay and Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra and Wayne
Yeah.
Dyer. Like I am a very and Neil Donald Walsh. I love their philosophy, and one of them, I don't remember which one, was quoted as saying that if they could go back and tell themselves their younger version of themselves, kind of what you were saying before, what would they say? And they said, I wouldn't say a freaking thing.
Well, I mean, there is truth to that because um, I had a lot of fun in my younger college and younger years, and I'm grateful social media did not exist, and for that for many reasons, not just because of things that I can't talk about, but also I think you know you just were able to live in the moment, right? You were able to live in the moment, and it's those memories that are up here, not on a device. And I think there's some truth to that. Is don't just live in the moment, and I don't know that we do that very much anymore,
No.
myself included. So
I think sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in, look, we both work. We're
yeah,
both doing, and I know that you love what you're doing now,
yeah,
and
I do,
we
I
will
do,
get
yeah,
into that. We will,
well,
I
yeah,
promise.
yeah.
But I'm enjoying this conversation. I'm not really ready to go there yet. So
Okay,
okay.
that's fine. That's fine. I'm willing to talk about the past. So
Well, because
past,
you think about like where we are and our experiences
uh-huh,
have shaped us to who we were, to who we are
yeah,
now, right?
they have.
Well, although there is, well, okay, so I'm going to go on record as saying that if I could go back and give myself any advice when I was
Yes,
younger, there's a couple things. Buy stock in Disney.
valid, valid,
Yeah.
valid.
Like do a couple things so that financially you're like in a different
Yeah,
stratosphere.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
Yeah, but other than that, I'm really very happy with who I am and where I am in my life and my
Yeah,
relationships and the experiences that I've had and staying in the moment and staying aware and present has become a daily practice.
yeah.
And the more you practice it, the stronger that it becomes and the
It,
easier.
it it does. It does. And I think, it comes, I was thinking about this actually in the car, driving the crazy roads of Charleston today. And I was thinking that it also, I think, comes with maturity, right? It comes with the comfortability in your own skin.
Yeah.
And, I remember this was years ago, when Oprah was like, in her 50s, and she's like, I feel the best and confident that I've ever felt in my own skin, and I know who I am. And, honestly, in my younger years, 20s, 30s, even 40s, I was chasing, right? I was chasing to be the best planner, chasing to be the trendsetter, chasing to, do all these things. Again, rather than, living in the moment, but also believing in who I was at the time, right? And I think that as I've gotten older, I'm just much more comfortable in my skin and with who I am, and just kind of am like, you know what, like if you don't like me, that's fine, because I am not, the piece of, chocolate or cup of tea for everybody, and that's okay. Um, where you're younger, you don't have necessarily, I think, that confidence, and you want to please everybody. Um, and I'm not going to, and I still won't. And I think I've gotten comfortable with that. I've gotten comfortable with who I am, uh, and um, and I think that just comes with age and wisdom, honestly, in my opinion. But
Yeah, I think it does too. I think you have to be a really mature young adult or have really come and been born into a different kind of family almost.
agreed, agreed, 100%, 100%.
If
Yeah,
your
I
parents
agree.
aren't capable, if your parents in the environment is not capable of nurturing that in you, you might have it innately in yourself. And yet to really like
Sure.
that blossom, sometimes it takes other people, not your immediate family, to
Yeah.
help. find that, right? And yeah, and then it takes
One
time.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah,
And I don't
100%. You
like
know,
the,
I told you, when I was on TV, you know, when I was, was doing the TV, and I did Bethany and all of that, I wasn't fully confident of myself, right? Like, I wasn't, and now I look back and I probably could have let go a lot more, but at the time, I was confident, but I wasn't as confident and accepting of myself now as I am now. Yeah.
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 So it's so interesting, this journey of life. There's another there's another woman who I listened to. I got introduced to her more recently from a friend of mine. Her name is Dolores Gannon, and some of her stuff is a little out there for some people. And she does say one thing that I really kind of, I don't know, I felt like it resonated with me. She said, and I kind of believe this, it feels right for me anyway, that this is school for us. Like, we're on earth and this is school.
Oh, yeah.
And we
Yeah.
spend our
I like
day here and we're in school. And then when we go to sleep at night, our souls leave and they go back home. And then in the morning, when our bodies decide we have to wake up or we have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night for
Yeah.
people my age, it has to come back to get you,
To
to
get you
take care
there.
of the
Yeah.
body. Right. And then if you think about, like, okay, so if this is school,
Right.
how would I grade myself as a student? What am I learning?
Mhm.
What am I expanding? What am I releasing and letting go of? What's getting in my way? Have I stopped the pity party? Have I stopped the
Right.
victimhood?
Yeah.
Am I judging other people? Because if I am, don't, let's work on releasing that, right?
Right.
If
Right.
I'm angry, release that. If I haven't forgiven, release that. And I
That's
think
all
those
really,
are,
that's a really good point. I like that.
yeah,
No, I really like that. I think
yeah.
that, see, I learned something
I am
today.
so fascinated by all this stuff.
I love it.
I'd love to share it. So thank you for being open.
No, no, I love that. I think that that's a great philosophy of it. I think, as an Aquarian, we're very quick and we can become detached very easily, but still harbor a grudge. So that is a piece I need to take with me. So thank you.
Okay, so if I was your coach, I would say never say the word need to. You have to say want. You have to want it
Want to.
and
Okay,
you really want it or choose to.
well, I'm an Aquarius, so I don't know that I would want to.
Well, I'm a Leo and I'm bossy, and I'm telling you that's what you got to do. Love the Leo. And by the way, I'm in the Chinese zodiac. I'm also a dragon, so it's like my husband
Oh,
has no chance. Yeah, he's toast.
fantastic. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. My
yeah.
mother's a Leo, so that's
Oh, no wonder why you and I get along. Like, you're like my brother from another mother. Tell your
yeah,
mother.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Seriously, seriously. Yeah, and you're so easy to talk to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, most of the times. It does happen.
It
It does.
does. It does.
So, all right. So we got to talk about you.
Okay,
What? So you've done all of these great things. You've met
sure.
some really famous people. You have you actually walked on the red carpet, or am I just imagining that I heard that?
I haven't. I mean, I've done red carpet events, so I have walked a red carpet, but not. I mean,
No,
for
no,
the
no, no,
not,
no, 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 no. You don't have to. Don't explain it. You have walked on the red carpet. I
I
know someone who has walked on the red carpet.
yes, I have walked many red carpets for
Okay.
different reasons. And actually, yes, I have walked a red carpet. Yeah, so yeah, I guess I have. I didn't really think about that. But
Yeah,
yes, I have. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. See, it goes back to that like I lived it, I did it. You and I talked about this. It feels braggadocious. Like that's my word, braggadocious. It feels like I'm like over bragging about it.
I love
But it
that
is
word.
a life, it is part of my life. It's a life that I live. So
It exactly.
yeah.
And it's so funny. So I work with some people who have like great successes, and then they have little ones, and they skip over those little ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, every success, everything you've done,
Is a success.
yeah, like pat yourself on the back, and
Right.
it's okay to like own
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
Own it, baby.
some
Own
days
it.
just showing up is successful. So I mean, and I mean that in all sincerity. Yeah, no, I have walked a red carpet. Yes. So
Okay, so now I can say that I know somebody that walked red carpet. Thank you.
yes,
This goes so good for my ego. I appreciate the fact that you did that.
I
So
did.
thank you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
where are you now, and how did you land there? I want to hear the story.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll start quickly at the beginning. I won't bore, but yeah, so I did events for 26 years, and loved it. It's all I've known, without telling people how old I am. Did it a long time, and was very lucky. And I ended up working for a local nonprofit in Charleston, South Carolina, in healthcare. And then there were just some administrative changes, some reorganizing, which happens when mergers, joint ventures, whatever you want to call it, happens. And myself and a lot of other people were reorganized out of the organization, which that is humbling in and of itself, to think that, you are a number and disposable. You never think of yourself as disposable. You think of yourself as relevant. And so that was a big, kick to the gut. Felt I'm getting a little emotional talking about it. But looking back on it, it was the best thing to happen to me. It really, truly was. I was in it and knew I needed a change, but I was too afraid to make a change. And people made a change for me.
And you had
Um,
no choice. You had to pick it.
and I had no choice.
Yeah.
I was lucky to have friends and a husband who allowed me to, take the space and time I needed to absorb, but also to explore. It really truly is something that, you grieve. And I went through all those emotions. And through the process of that, I was lucky to have found this organization that allowed me back into my entrepreneurial spirit, because I had founded my own event planning and design company. And so I am a creative by nature. It's something I've always been, is creative. Whether it's some sort of design, some sort of florals, some sort of all of that. So just getting into the design space. And so now I'm doing home staging and interior design, which I absolutely love. The company is fantastic. Linden Creek out of Raleigh, and we have the Greenville and the Charleston locations, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm back to the entrepreneurial side. I can now take the lessons that I've learned from my own business, but also growing with everything, and apply that, and really watch the seedling grow. And I get to be creative, and I get to create relationships with people, which I love to do. And it's just it's fun. It's different. It's allowing me back into the design space, but it's also tapping into different skill sets that I had, that I'm reawakening, and all at the same time learning something completely new, which I think is really the most important thing. Is I'm learning something new. It's a physical job. I'm not stuck behind a desk. Um, Not every day is the same. That's originally why, when I went to college, I went for television to get into TV broadcasting, because not every day is the same. And when you're doing events, not every event is the same. Not every day is the same. The challenges are there. And I get to apply everything that I did in events now to home staging and interior design. You have timelines. You've got to say, okay, well, if you're building an event in a parking lot in a tent, what has to happen first, and you build that out, and you bring teams of teams together, and you're orchestrating. And that's what interior design is. That's what home staging is. And it's just using all of those skill sets. And it's just it's just so cool. Like, it's so fun to see it, come together, and the transformation. And that's what I loved about, the event planning and design, was that, the ballroom transformations, the tent parking lot transformations, that, people are like, oh God, this place is in a field, like, and then they walk into the tent and they're like, okay, this is a ballroom, like, on steroids. And so it's just really, really cool. Sorry, that was a lot of talking.
No, you're fine. It's all
I
good.
don't,
So,
I don't even I don't even know if I answered the question.
yeah, it's all good. So the my takeaway to and what I'm hearing underneath all of that
Yeah.
is that you love creating spaces for people to enjoy. You love the transformation of
Yes.
it. You
Yes.
love having the opportunity to bring someone's vision to life, and you're really
Yes.
freaking good at it.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I think I never thought about it put more succinctly that way. But yes, you are
That's
right.
why
I
I get
think,
paid the big bucks, man.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think, you're right. I think at the end of the day, people deserve, they might not have the vision, but people deserve to have a space, a sanctuary, where they can unwind from the crazy, put their troubles at the front door, and just have a place that is them, um, that feels personal. Linden Creek always says that, it's elevated living, elevated everyday living, where you can see yourself, with your kids on a white couch having popcorn on a Friday night with your black lab, kind of, a scenario. And, you know, that is important to me, because I want people to feel that way. I want to feel that way when I come home, right? Like, I have two rescues that, greet me every day, and they're the best things to happen to my husband and I, along with our family and friends. But, when I created event spaces, tying back to that, you're doing a wedding, and this is, something that, little girls, now women, have dreamed about forever. And, you're helping, in some cases, a relative may be dying, and this is the last moment to bring the family together. We've had that many times, and it's a huge responsibility on your shoulders, but it's something I don't take lightly, and never took lightly. And I feel the same way, and apply that to creating these spaces, but with the wisdom I've gathered along the way. And working in healthcare, I've been able to take the wisdom of how we treat patients is the same way that, and I know it seems probably not connecting, but you really need to treat people with compassion, and all of those things, as you would in healthcare, because you're creating a sacred space for people. And I think that that's important, to carry all of those lessons into this next chapter that I have.
I love that. And so for me, there is a connection. So I'm going to tell you what I heard. Okay. I
Yeah.
love doing this stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So this is what I heard. I heard that because you were in the healthcare, and I also know that to be in the healthcare industry, you have to have really deep compassion, and
Yeah.
you have to have empathy, not
Yeah.
sympathy, empathy.
Correct.
And
Correct.
you have to be able to see the person,
Yes.
and right, and not just put your projected, oh, I think I have this
Correct.
great idea into their
Yeah.
head. You have to
No.
take their thing and put it out there,
Correct.
and
Correct.
interpret that for them.
Correct. Yeah. Like, I always say, I used to contribute to the Teammate Assistance Fund. It was a fund that would help teammates who, might be struggling with medical bills, or, a husband who might, have cancer, can't, meet mortgages, bills, things of that nature. And, the thing is that, when you're going in for an appointment and you're getting checked in, or maybe you're getting prepped for surgery or procedure, you don't know what that person who is, their job is to make you comfortable. They could be going through the same thing as what you're going through. And yet they show up every day, and they treat you with compassion, and they treat you the best that they can. And so, I think putting it in that perspective, really changed the way I started approaching, when I was in the healthcare industry, approaching events, but also approaching people. and approaching, you and I are both New Yorkers. It is very easy for us to give a couple hand gestures when somebody cuts you off in traffic and, say, something
I
nasty.
never did that. I never.
I'm not saying I did or didn't. I'm just saying that I've witnessed it on the streets
Uh-huh.
of New York.
Yep.
But it starts to, when you start to look at it in that perspective, it starts to crack and break away that hardened shell that I once had when I was younger and less informed and less, I was more naive then. So
And we were also different. Listen, when I was
yeah,
in New York, I was an adrenalized woman. I wanted to be all about, the business
yeah,
success and
right,
corporate
exactly.
ladder. And like you said, the universe had other plans for me, right?
Right. And me. And, so I think, to me, those are all the lessons. By all means, I am not perfect. I mean, my husband will tell you, so will my parents who just visited, that I am not perfect. But I think, to your point of being conscious and thinking and, learning the lessons, what lessons are you learning? I think that those are things that, I try to apply, now as I design spaces for people to live in. So
I think that's great. That's awesome. By the way, I
thanks.
know your parents are really close. When we're done, I want their address because I'm going to go visit
Oh,
them. Okay.
oh, okay. They would love that. They would love that. They would
All
love
right.
that.
So, do you work with? I know you do staging for the
Yes.
real estate industry, and then as far as like personal spaces for homes and families, that you do that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So Linden Creek, what's great about them is that, not only do we do staging occupied and occupied in the luxury space, we also do builder grade. So we can work with builders, we can work with, builders, all of that to do builder selections, model homes, interior design. We can do interior design, full home interior design. We can do, room by room. We really work with the client to see what's going to be the best fit, best option for them.
Awesome.
Because we really want to create spaces that feel elevated, but that are livable. I think, sometimes even I, look at, some magazine pictures of celebrity homes or, and you're like, how do you even live in that? I mean, admittingly, we're one of those people that, if we see like a piece of artwork or, something in another country or another state, we're like, ooh, that would be a good addition. So we have a very eclectic kind of, taste at home. But we really work with the client to create a space and listen to them. And I think that that's the important part, is listening and understanding the functionality that they want within the home,
Yeah.
um, rather than just create something for the sake because it's a trend, it's on trend. I think it's really listening and understanding that, well, we might think it should be this way, understanding that, in form and function for this individual, they're the ones living in it, so we really need to listen to them. But yeah, we do, we also can do furniture sales as well. So, if we stage a home and the buyer likes what's in it, they can buy it, and then if they want us to come in and do a renovation and, freshen things up, we can do that too. So
I wish
it's
I
just,
had. Yeah.
it's fun. Every aspect of this is just fun. And before, I used to say, because I was, I couldn't say, well, we're not curing cancer, because we actually were trying to cure cancer. But now, we're creating spaces for people, fun, amazing spaces for people.
Yeah, and I think it's still important because people live in those spaces. They spend, and especially nowadays when people are working remotely and
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you're retired, you're spending a lot of time in your home. You
You
want to
are
people. I wish I
100%.
had known you before I bought that yellow couch. Probably would have stopped me. Don't do it.
I might have maybe directed you in a,
Oh,
like,
with me, you could have been direct. Remember, I'm from New York, so you could have
I
said,
know. I could have been.
don't
I
do
could have
it.
been. I could have been. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you and they want, like, how does that work? How do they get you?
Yeah, so they can go to Linden Creek, Greenville, Charleston. They can find us on Instagram there, or they can do Shawn at linden-creek.com if they want to find us. But yeah, they can find all about us via social media. So
Okay, and Linden Creek is Linden.
correct, Dash
Creek.
Creek,
Dash Creek. Okay.
Dash Creek. So Linden Creek, and it's just yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's just so fun.
Somebody
Yeah.
who loves what they're doing and is passionate about it,
Yeah,
it's a
I love
blessing
it.
to call it work, isn't it?
It is. It really truly is. It is a blessing to call it work. And it's fun. What's fun is watching or hearing back from the clients when we've staged the home after they've had it a certain way, and we go in and we stage it or we design it, and they walk in and they're like, this is not the same place. Oh my gosh. And we really look at ourselves as the marketing partner to the agent and to the seller. Our job is to highlight the unique features of the home so that it can sell. Sell quickly and sell for top dollar. And that's our job. Our job is to help that happen when it comes to the staging. But also, as we said, with the interior design, really to make it the space their own, and a place that they can open the door and go, wow, this is mine.
Nice. Nice. Thank you so much for like the conversation.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoy talking with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in a couple months. We'll be
Yes,
back in Charleston
yes,
eventually.
yes. I know we want you back here for sure.
Yeah,
So
it's
we want
gonna
you back here.
happen.
But this was fun. I'm so glad you asked me, and so glad to be a part of this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime. So, Mr. Shawn Rabideau,
Yes,
not Rabidon't.
that's correct. Rabidoo, Rabidoo.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the podcast today as a guest. This is Deborah Perlman. I am your host and author of the book called OOMPH, and this is the Entrepreneurial OOMPH podcast. And I so appreciate you, and I will see you next week.